And I'm going to fill the areas with the glitter with the clear resin. And let's just hope that this resin does not spill out everywhere. Hiya, welcome back to my channel. It's Wendy here from Toonpish Crafts and I hope you're doing okay. Now you may remember on Friday last week I showed you the xTool M1 laser engraver and cutter and I have not been able to put it down. So I've made this project, I'm hoping you enjoy it. It's definitely different from a resin point of view. In fact, you don't need to do resin with it at all. There are ways around that. It's just I'm a resin person, so I wanted to put resin in it. But I hope you enjoy this. It's definitely something different. So this is the xTool program that is on my computer. And I've downloaded some images from Creative Fabrica. I will put their link in the description box below. I'm enlarging it with the plus and minus buttons on the left hand side at the bottom of the program so that I can separate them and not put them in the area that I want to cut, so I can see more clearly what I'm using. Now each of these layers is a different colour, which does help. I did struggle a little bit at the beginning of using this program regarding layers, but I realised quite quickly that there are two buttons on the right hand side. One is ignore and one is output. So if you highlight one of your images, it's part of your layers, and press ignore or press output, output is where it would be used and ignore is where it just sits there and not does anything. So I chose the image that I wanted to use and I highlighted as output and I made sure all the others were ignore, and then I cut that image out on 3mm basswood. I then did the same for all the images, and this is the result of cutting them all out and spraying them all black. They're all the same size and they fit on top of each other. So you have 5 layers of the same picture but slightly different. So as they have all the same outline, they fit together and they give a 3D effect picture, and I think that is an amazing idea. Now what shall I do with that idea? I decided to start with to glue the bottom layer and the first layer together. That would give me a base where I could start to colour this little chap. I'm using E6000 glue and it does have a few lumps in it. My lid doesn't fit very well, but I won't get rid of it because I love this glue. It sticks like you wouldn't believe. And it does go off quite quick, so I've got to move quite quickly. I need to cover the entire underside of layer 2 so that it creates a seal between the 2 layers. Once I've completely covered it in glue, then I can put layer 1 on the base layer, and once I've wiped my hands because I'm getting glue everywhere, then I can push down the 2, and I did put something heavy on top to keep the seal. So most of this project was me working out what I wanted and where I wanted it in what layer. And to start with, I thought I wanted some white in here. Now, because I've sprayed the base black, if I put white resin over the top of that, you might see through it. So I decided to paint the areas white that I wanted to put the white resin. I figured that would be a better coat for that area. It didn't have to be neat, it just had to do what I wanted it to take away the dark areas. So once I was happy that the paint and the glue were completely dry, even though it looks a little bit of a mess with all the fingerprints and glue on the top, it won't matter because we've got more levels to go on that. And I decided to use some metal leaf size. Now this is gilding glue. You put it on and you leave it to dry completely. So it takes about 45 minutes to completely dry. And when it's completely dry, it's clear, but it remains tacky. So that you can put embellishments or glue or glitter or gilding foil on it. Now I was having a little trouble. These areas are tiny to get a brush into. So I decided to use this eyeliner brush. One of my subscribers linked these for me and they are amazing. They're disposable eyeliner brushes and they're brilliant for small areas. But of course you can always clean glue off them with isopropyl alcohol or white spirits even. So I'm just filling up the areas that I want to colour with glitter or gilding foil. So thank you Holly for linking me these brushes. They will be in my Amazon storefront, which will be linked at the bottom of the description box below this video or on my website. So all that is done now, and I've decided to use really fancy glitter from Yvonne in Resin Supplies Den on these little areas. Resin Supplies Den is a little Facebook group here in the UK, and these are the colours that I've decided to use. They are Pixie Purple and Pixie Pink, and I thought they were really stunning. And as it happens, I was looking through my vinyl and I came across some vinyl that I think would absolutely go with these glitters really well. They kind of give the same effect. So what I thought I'd do would put some of the vinyl underneath where the pattern is on the next level. Now it took a little bit of working out on how to cut these pieces. And to start with, I did miss a bit in the bottom left hand corner, so I just cut off another tiny bit and put that on as well. Try not to cover up any of the areas that I've just put the glue in. So working onto the next level then, I then put a little bit on the tail and I decided to do a huge area on the body. I thought that would be a lot easier than filling each of those little areas with glitter. And I will link this vinyl in my Amazon storefront because that's where it came from. I then decided on pieces for the ears, and these are all the bits that are going to go for the next layer. Now this is where I said I don't need to do resin at all. I'm a resin person and I wanted resin in this, but you could do it just with vinyl. So right now my cat looks as if it's got a ball gown on or something. It looks very odd, but it does come together with the next layer. Now I need to fill in the areas with the glitter. And I decided the best way, the easiest way for me to get glitter in these little tiny holes was to put some glitter in a needle top bottle. Again, these will be linked in my Amazon storefront. So I put one glitter in one little bottle and the other colour in another little bottle. And I just tipped the glitter into the hole and tapped the bottle. You don't need to squeeze it really, it just comes out anyway. But it was very easy to fill up the holes that way. And I had all the ones to do on the head as well. I just want to say a quick hello and welcome to all my new subscribers. I've had quite a few lately and I just wanted to welcome you to the channel and I hope you enjoy the content going forward. And don't forget to check out toonpish.com. All my affiliate links and discount codes are all in one place. So this layer was the layer that had to have the most of the colour. So once I was happy that all the little areas had a good covering of glitter, then I could think what else needs to go on this layer before I pour any resin, before I put the next layer down. It's very much an offering up of the next layer to see where things are going. I decided that I needed the inside of the ears done as well. So once I was happy that everything was where it needed to be, then I'm going to use some resin. I'm going to use some white Vista pigments and some Fast Cure Let's Resin. I do have a discount code for that and it's on the screen and will also be in the description box below. I've mixed up a small amount of resin and put some white in it, and I've put it in a needle top bottle. Now do remember that I do clean my bottles out with isopropyl alcohol, with cotton buds and with torn up baby wipes, so I use these bottles over and over and over, but they are ideal for getting the resin into small areas. even with the needle dot bottle here, I still needed a tiny stick or needle to get the resin to flow into the extra small places. And I was hoping at this point that my seal with the glue was strong enough and had no gaps so that the resin would stay exactly where I wanted it to be. I wouldn't know that until it starts to run out, if it's going to run out. But I had my fingers and my toes crossed. So I've got some white in his bib, some in his paws, a little on his tail, and I had a little seep of white from the mouth that went into the nose, but I could live with that. I could see that happening in front of me. I was okay with that one. And now I've got some clear resin, and I'm going to fill the areas with the glitter with the clear resin. And let's just hope that this resin does not spill out everywhere. The following day I was impressed that it hadn't, and I need to glue on the next level. Now this is a lot thinner, there are smaller bits to glue, so it took me quite a while, but I did use one of those eyeliner brushes, which made it easier. Once I thought everything was completely covered in the glue, I placed it on top nice and securely and got it in the right position, and I put a heavy weight on it and I walked away for a few hours. So that layer was the hardest, it was the most involved, and from now on it's just bits and pieces here and there. So this piece is a little bit of his tail, and then it had a tiny little bit at the top of the tail. Now it's worth mentioning here that this basswood is really fragile and little pieces of it had chipped away. Then I decided to give the chin and the eyes another coat of white to bring the level up a little bit. I also did the tip of his tail in white, and I went over the big area in his tail again with the white and the paws and a little bit on the bib, just to bring the depth up a little. Now I'd already figured that the swirls of fur in his bib area would be great with white in, and the twirly bits of the wood you could see through the white. There were a couple that had lost their tips of the swirls, but I was okay with that. I didn't want to cut another one. I'm quite happy with it, how it was. I filled up those little areas and made sure that all the area was filled with a needle and any bubbles were released. You can't spray black spray paint with isopropyl alcohol because it melts the paint. So I couldn't spray the resin in any of this with isopropyl alcohol. It's worth remembering that because you don't want to ruin your finish of the wood spray. Then I went over and filled in all the little areas on his feet and on his tail again with clear resin to bring that level up as well. So the following day, when the resin's cured, I've put a few more pieces of vinyl on for the next layer. That is just to again bring the depth up, and then I've got to glue this layer. Now by this point there's very little wood to put glue on, but I needed the seal between each layer in case I put any more resin on. I didn't know whether I was going to or not. Once I'd covered as much as I possibly could with the glue, then I very carefully put it down onto the previous layer. Again, I put a heavy weight on it and I left it to cure and I walked away. The following day, and I'd placed a really pretty blue vinyl in the eye sockets, around the outside of the bib and on the eyebrows, and this one hasn't got much wood in it at all, so I glued it up and I placed it on and I left it to cure with a heavy weight. There was actually one final layer to this, which was literally just the outline wood. But when I sprayed it black, it stuck to the surface I was spraying it and it just fell apart, so I didn't do another one. So finally I went around the outside edge with black paint and I painted the back black to give it a nice finish, as there was a little bit of seepage of white resin through the edges. But I think that finished it off completely. Now I was wondering whether I should fill this entire thing with clear resin. What do you think? I like the fact that you can see through it. You would be able to see through it with clear resin, but I wasn't 100% sure whether I wanted it to be completely solid. What would you have done? Let me know in the comments section below. I really enjoyed making this though, and I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you like what you've seen, then a thumbs up would be really appreciated, and please drop us a comment and let us know what you think, whether you would fill it up with clear resin or whether you would just leave it as it is. Thanks very much for watching this one. I hope you come back and see me next week, because you never know what I'm going to be up to. I never know what I'm going to be up to. Have a great week, happy crafting, and bye for now.